Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Bitcoin and Altcoin Trading Talk. I'm your host, Joe, with Coinigy, joined by the wonderful Mr. Brian Beamish. How are you
Evening,
doing?
everyone. Hi, Joe. Joe's ready to rock this thing.
Yes, sir.
We
You
got
know,
to make sure, though, the audio is correct. So, if anybody's watching over on YouTube, can you just give us some feedback on Joe's audio, please?
had some issues the other day.
I don't have the YouTube page up and running. Should I have it up and running somewhere, you think?
I can send over to
Actually,
you.
here, I could probably just get it from all the tweets we've been putting out here. Look at all these wonderful tweets. Hey, there you go. Let's copy link. And I guess, why don't I do it over here? Anyway, how are you this fine day, Joe?
Okay, it does say Robert says Joe's audio is low slash underwater sounding. Let's just try it on the regular one. What we were going for, MacBook. All right, is that any better for the audio? Just ditch the microphone I had.
Let's choose Joe's microphone
That's
good.
better.
A bit better. All right. Well, making progress.
Yeah.
Progress. I wonder if I don't know whether there's anything I can do on my end.
Yeah, I'm just going right because I was using the fancy mic, but that one's having the issues.
You sound
Um,
a lot fuller in the Zoom call here, so that's interesting.
fair enough. All right.
Anyway, your feedback is
Yeah.
greatly appreciated. Let us know if you have any suggestions on how we can make the show better. I would wear makeup, but I don't know. Pink lipstick doesn't look very good on me. We definitely have the facial hair, but wow, is Joe's got like the serious man beard going. I can't compete with that action. Holy
Gotta
moly.
hack it down here soon. It's getting a little out of control. But
Hey,
anyways,
and what happens? Do you get ranch ever caught in the beard? I suppose that would be embarrassing,
yeah, I'm eating pizza with the ranch.
eh?
Um, but anyways, I hope the audio is a little better, doable at least.
Yeah,
Um,
Adam is our. It's a really good show. Back, what would you call him?
as a
Gaffer?
little
Have
fan.
you ever heard of the gaffer? I think the gaffer is the guy that holds the microphone when they're videoing. Anyway, Adam, let us know how the mic is coming across. So anyway, appreciate you tuning in. I don't think there's. Yeah, we got a few people watching. Not quite sure how we can boost the viewership. Maybe in the comments on this video. If
Yeah,
you're watching afterwards, maybe suggest some ways that we can just at least spread the good word. I mean, I know my jokes are pretty bad and they're kind of hard to stomach, but I think the TA and the basic lessons that we're trying to teach about the market are of value. Anyway,
so
um,
Brian, I
Brian
think
sounds great. Joe sounds faint.
I think it's something with the OBS, maybe trying to increase my volume.
Audio. Oh, okay. So, what do we got here? Who are you? There's the mic, so that's me. Oh, you know what it is? Do you have your Video Ninja volume on?
Yes, I do.
So you got to turn that off.
It is off. Sorry.
Okay. So let's mute that. Now say something. Tell me about your day.
Yeah.
How was the day in Portland?
Not too bad. Nice and sunny day here in Portland today.
Any better there, Adam? Uh, I don't know what it is about us and our funny little adventures here.
It's working for a
Uh,
while there. Bear with us.
yeah. I wonder if I have to sit closer to the microphone. The thing is, if I do, my funny green screen goes flying 10 different directions.
Anyways, I'll just try to talk a little louder today. And
Just yell at me, you know,
yeah.
makes it easy. uh, all right.
Anyways, so markets have been kind of mellowing out a little bit. We got back up in the 70K range for Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And we got the halving just about, what would that be, about 10 days away at this point.
Yeah, I think so. 9 days, something like that. How ironic it's going to be on 420. Wow, that's
Yeah,
I find that quite amusing. I'm a bit surprised by that.
we'll see what day. I put out a poll the other day on Coinigy's page, seeing what day, if it's gonna be like the 19th, 20th, 21st. And I think the 20th was the guess, because on this countdowns I've seen a couple different things.
Oh,
So
really? Some are actually saying it'd be the 19th?
yeah,
Oh, isn't that interesting? Um,
well,
let's
we're
see. Alan 420 tweet. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody said, and I think I watched a video from Chico Crypto, Tyler. I think that's his name. Um, I think he's a fan that he actually thinks that Elon Musk is Satoshi, and he made some reference that can't remember what it was in a recent video that he did, something about 420, and I think it's something like no, I can't remember it all. Anyway, I guess just the point is that what you were making reference to was Elon Musk?
yeah,
Yeah.
Elon's. I'm sure he was, because he's always posting it. I just changed my microphone one other time. Let me know if that's any better. If not,
Anyway, incoming Allen 420 tweets, says Robert. So yeah. Um, I thought it was interesting. I didn't even realize that the last happening was my birthday, which was a bit surprising. I don't know why I didn't clue into that earlier. Anyway, so done any climbing any mountains lately? You've been really busy, in life. I know you're doing like a University of Oregon program or something, right? MBA.
yep, get my executive MBA out
Jeez.
here.
Yeah.
Hopefully getting out. Maybe we'll try to climb Mount Hood if the weather's right one of these days.
Sweet.
So
What's the mountain that I saw pictures of you climbing before? Was that one of your
that's
local hills?
St. Helens.
Oh, the volcano mountain. Oh, you climbed
Yeah.
that, eh? Hmm.
So just got up there and then skied back down after.
Oh,
So
and you skied down. Jeez, you're such a
yeah,
badass.
trying to. It's good fun out there.
All
Um,
right. Anything in particular? Maybe the audience wants to hear about good old Coinigy. Better make your bosses happy. We're doing these shows. So, what's the big sales pitch out of Coinigy these days?
well, actually, we'll give a little insight on. We are gonna be releasing a small feature. Hopefully next week. We'll give you guys a. It'll be where you can see some data like the delisted projects. Because usually when something's delisted on Coinigy or on the exchanges that we support, um, we will like just kind of take them down. But we're going to be making that data publicly available to the users. Like a couple people requesting it, so we'll be introducing the crypt any day now. So
The crypt.
yeah,
The
so
crypto
hopefully
crypt.
that's
That's almost funny.
yeah. So we've got. I mean, Coinigy's coming up on its 10th year of business
Yeah.
here next month now. So we've got that data that spans back 10 years that I've just been sitting on some of these delist exchange going back to the BTCE and Mount Gox days. So
Yeah.
we could display that data.
I remember trading on Cryptsy.
Dan Cripsey, those days as
Yeah,
well.
that was
Been around
during the
for a
Mount
while.
Gox days. Yeah.
But
Cool.
well, shall we jump into some of these requests we got?
Sure, sure. However you want to play this. Thought I'd give you an opportunity to shill Coinigy here a little bit.
And well, also let's give you your guys here with the Rational Investor. You guys got a school year coming up soon.
Well, I mean, it's just we run 3 education programs per year, so just like typical university kind of program. That's how I sort of originally built it. So we do have the spring semester coming up. Actually, shout out. I was going to give a shout out new members on the site. One person in particular was like, "Hey man, love the videos," and I was like, "All right, well we got a Coinigy show starting up, and I'll even give you a shout out." So big shout out
George
to
and Bess.
huh?
Yeah, it says I found the message saying uh, George was one of
George.
the new
Yes.
ones.
Six
Yeah,
six
big
six.
time
Oh,
fan.
he's even part of the Illuminati. Actually, it was weird. I saw a really, very, very different interpretation of what the importance of 666 is. Very different the other day. So I think historically they said that it was like Nero's street address in Rome. He wasn't very kind to the Christians.
Interesting.
But anyway, point being, hello, George. Welcome to DRI. And I would strongly suggest anybody watching this, if uh, the one sort of key feature of what makes TRI so special with regard to our education program is we're not really here to teach you to be a zombie and just do as you're told. What we're really here to do is to teach you how to build and run a small business of trading and like what are the key ingredients that are involved. And then with regard to trading, how are you going to sort of identify edge and set yourself up to follow the process? And hopefully, what I've shown with just even these videos that we've done with Joe here, you've taken a few pages of notes in our brief time working together, eh, Joe? Would you say?
just a just a few. I've got I got my notebook that I transcribe everything in, but then I still have all the original ones where it's just the sheets of paper.
Sweet, sweet.
So I take a lot of notes here and then transcribe them very nicely into my trading journal, which
So
I'm
wouldn't it be cool to have like a program that week by week just gives you a nice little summary of everything that you're supposed to learn for that particular module, and then do quizzes on that and even have a
go
final
further.
exam? So anyway, that's the education program, and the goal is uh, to really give you the ability to actually expect to run a profitable business of trading versus just coming in and, hey, I'm a trader, look at me. I mean, what does that even mean? So anyway, that's my big sales pitch for you. It's a little bit different angle than what you're probably going to hear out of sort of the, I mean, God, the sad part about it is, and Joe, you were even telling me now, some of your cohorts and compadres and stuff are saying, hey, I'm kind of interested in getting into trading and all that kind of stuff, eh?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is what happens at the top of these markets. And ironically enough, half of my job is to just slow all of you down.
Yeah.
And actually, one of the very first coins we ever looked at, and I happen to have it on the screen here, is an absolutely perfect testament to what we do at TRI. I had mentioned this Verge to Joe when we first started, and it was just bumping along here. And one of the setups, which is a term that we use at TRI, but it just simply says that we want to try and trade with the trend. Trend continuation is another way of expressing that. See if I can just put the numbers on here. I'll try and do this quickly. 66%, and why don't we go over here? We'll go 33. Let's see, what else do we need to change here? Let's get rid of that. And we even sort of set up a framework for Joe to actually participate in this move. That's the one good thing I like about what I do is like everything that we do in the marketplace is behavior based. And so really, we should have like almost like a preset plan if we're ever going to sort of risk our hard-earned money in the marketplace. And this is one of my favorite setups to trade. The bot, I affectionately call it, because I used to do public speaking and stuff about this when I was prop trading, and I used to say the headline of the presentation was, "When I turn myself into a robot, I trade like a machine." So anyway, this is a pretty good example. Very nice base. You could even argue maybe a nice trading range. And we spent a lot of time working together all through 2023. I actually affectionately publicly had an expression for 2023. I don't know whether we want
Get your
to.
act together.
Yeah, yeah, get your act together. Yeah, that's the clean. But this is a really good example where if you had set yourself up through 2023, then through 2024, and this particular setup would have you go long here at this 47, what does that say? 67, 87?
47.67.
Yeah, I'm getting so old I can't even see straight. Anyway, and interestingly enough, you'd be taking profits on this move up into this area here. And then also, too, a really, really simple way of managing money. I often suggest people that if you bought something at, say, 4,700, then double that is what, 9,400? Let's call it 9,500. So even in this kind of situation, where's 95? Somewhere up in there. We can sell half of what it is that we bought, because basically that's double our purchase price. And we get all of the original capital that we invested in this name. We get it all given back to us. And the other half of the position from this point on, no risk whatsoever. Cost basis is zero. And, this thing, it is kind of funny. Do yourself a favor if you want after the show, maybe in the coming week, go and look at the history of Verge. I originally bought this Verge at 2 sats, and I was selling it at like 1,500 sats. I just absolutely insane numbers. So, I mean, is history repeating itself? I don't know. But this is a really, really good example of setting yourself up to run a business where we're going to trade setups that get us to specifically act at specific levels. And of course, with our work, we can define our risk, and we can also define what type of risk taker we are. And that in itself actually dictates how we're going to manage risk. And this is a really simple scenario where you can actually generate a risk-free trade. I mean, maybe you sell a little bit higher so that you get that sell half on a double plus what would you call Joe Biden Uncle Joe? I don't know.
I got an Uncle Joe, so I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, yeah, that doesn't quite work. And you probably are an Uncle Joe to somebody, aren't
I
you?
am. I'm Uncle Joey.
All right. Anyway, point here is Uncle Sam, right? The tax man, right? You want to sell a little bit more than you can see. There's enough of a cushion that you could have sold it maybe like 2.5 to 1 or whatever. But the point is that after the dust settles, you have yourself a risk-free trade, and then it doesn't really matter what happens to this thing. It could go to the moon, woohoo! Let's go buy Lambo, or it could go off the board. So what? It doesn't cost me anything. And that's the whole premise of building a plan and a business that is expecting to make money from this business is doing things like trading setups and then forcing yourself to take profits at very appropriate levels. And the problem here is, and I asked Joe this earlier on, and really, this would be a great opportunity for all of you in the audience, and maybe even ask yourself if I'm doing things like selling half of the position, double my purchase price, am I And the answer's in this statement, so don't overthink this. Am I coming in on the buy side here with price now at these levels? Or am I coming in on the sell side here with price at these levels? And that's really important to understand.
You're selling half.
I'm selling. That's
Yeah.
right. So the problem with that is that I can't go out into the public and endorse the public to come in on the buy side here when actually I'm doing the exact opposite. I'm selling at these levels that you see a lot of prices at. You don't have to sell all, but I'm certainly not buying. And unfortunately, this is what really worries me about the risk market right now. If you don't know, I have over 35 years experience in the markets. I was a licensed investment advisor and financial planner. I was a licensed stock broker, commodities broker, options and derivatives broker, which by the way is a very difficult license to get. Um, I was, a fellow of the Canadian Securities Institute, whatever the hell that's worth. But the point is that I've done almost every single job in this business. I've been through numerous cycles. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars trading this, and I suppose if you add up all the numbers over the years for all the money that we made for clients and stuff when I was trading their accounts, I mean, it's in the millions. um, I need for you to listen to me when I say things like I am coming in on the sell side of the market here now, not the buy side. And yeah, exactly. Well, and ironically enough, especially when you're a broker, you got to have all the one-liners, right? Because that's just what you do is you just spit out the one-liners all day long, and people laugh, and there you get them to spend their money. But that's a perfect one-liner, right? Don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. So that's probably got to be the message in this kind of market state. And Joe will attest in 2023, and probably the most of the people watching this video. But there will be people that will watch this video and not really know who I am, or maybe not have watched all the videos that we've done over the years. You need to understand the context of the market that you're coming into. And this is a very dangerous market too, because we do have a very big fundamental event coming up here in the marketplace for Bitcoin in the not too distant future. And there is an old expression in the market that says, buy the rumor. So there you go. Joe has listened to my one-liners. So, there's the backdrop of how we start the conversation today. This was a really, really good example. And I remember specifically telling Joe back when we first started to work together, I think it was about a year or so ago.
Yeah, last May.
Yeah, okay. So where would May be? When this thing was over here? Really? April? Yeah. Is that no
yeah, no, you're there.
Yeah, over here, eh? I did distinctly remember though we walked through this setup in particular and this double bottom here. So, and if anything, really good example, and does price kind of look similar here? If you actually came in and bought this up here, oh God, you had to go through. I mean, what is that? That's like July of 2023. You could actually make the argument price is almost basically the same level as if you had chased this up market and bought up here. So what you have to learn is let the market settle down, let it base out, make a certain letter of the alphabet. What letter of the alphabet are we always in love with, Joe?
W's.
Yeah, in fact, I think I even have it here. But I don't know how I... oh, darn. I know it's the International Brotherhood of W lovers. But I don't know. I know I tweeted it out, but I don't know whether this will pop up here or not. Anyway, hopefully what you can see when I scroll through this is W after W after W. I mean, this is what we do is we buy W's. This is when you have to come into the market when assets look like they're making these W's, not when the market has gone zooming up. That's too bad. I was kind of hoping I could show you. Maybe I'll just
You click on latest, you might see it in here.
International Brotherhood of W Lovers. It's so ironic because it's like a Sesame Street meme. There it is. National Association, beg your pardon. This was back in the days where everything was still within the United States and nobody would talk like international, right? So it's the national. But anyway, this is a meme that we always pass around the site. This is our bread and butter. We're all card carrying members of the National Association of W Lovers. So,
Great.
if you're going to learn anything tonight, this is what you need to learn. And this chart is such a beautiful illustration of this. That had you recognize the W's coming in here, and if you want to use a bot setup like the bot, how ironic it would have you go long basically on the confirmation of this massive W here right off of this level. And you'd be sitting there up well over 100% on your money. You already got your original capital back if you just simply follow our time-tested principle of selling half on a double. And you're just sitting pretty right now. Sipping your Mai Tais. No, what's a drink that's popular these days? Daiquiris.
Daiquiris are good.
Mm. But the problem is, if you come in and buy this now here, where do you have to actually see to get a double? I mean, this is 9.5, right? We would have to see price go all the way up into this level, way up here, to try and get a double from current levels. Way up there. So is that realistic? And then given the amount of risk that you have to take, because keep in mind, if you buy there's the bottom of the W way down there. That's almost like even odds. And sadly, kind of like this price action, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing has to come back down to earth. So it's a great analogy of what it is that we do at TRI. And the great part about it is that we actually have all of the video walkthroughs on these Coinigy videos. Are these videos, can somebody find them somewhere on the Coinigy platform, Joe?
They are like you find them through. You have to kind of dig through. Not we're working on getting like the page set up from where they're all publicly available directly on the site, but you can get through to our YouTube channel from the page.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if that functionality is available, be a great testament of everything that we do at TRI. And what I would like to see out of all of you, and the sad thing is I know there's a lot of people in the public coming in and buying. They probably bought this up move here, and they were actually buying our sell orders, which is kind of tragic, but that is the capitalist process. And if you could go look at those Coinigy videos, you can see exactly where we first. In fact, at this point, Joe didn't know anything about TA.
That's true.
And I might argue that we've done probably a pretty good job. He should know W's, and it would be great if the whole Coinigy community could learn about this, too. Anyway, all right. You had a specific list of coins that were requested tonight.
Yes, let's start out with XEC/USDT. eCash. Let's go to Gate. I was clicking around. I think Gate has the most data there. So this is eCash. It's a rebranded version of Bitcoin Cash ABC. Interesting. Itself is a fork of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash.
All right. XEC looks like it's trying to come in here.
Okay. said my audio got super muddy. I'm honestly no clue because it sounds fine for Brian. It sounds this is coming in for me. Let's try one source.
Source. I heard that.
Source. All right. I said let's try one other source. I just switched to one other option for my webcam. If not, fortunately, I'm not exactly sure. Might be something with OBS on your side, Brian, that's streaming. Is that any better, Robert?
Sounds basically the same. I don't really see anything different over here. Da 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 da. My mic's working. I muted everything else. Audio input capture. That seems to be. Anyway. Joe's audio just got super muddy. I don't know. Well, Joe, can you say something? Maybe
Yeah.
it's better now.
Is this any better? Because what I'm also thinking you might be able to do, you could mute on Zoom. Actually, no, mute yourself.
Yeah, maybe that's an idea.
But then I could do it through OBS or through Video Ninja. Maybe my microphone would go that way.
Yeah, Adam, welcome to DeFi.
Not exactly sure.
All right, I don't know whether it's my internet connection or maybe maybe the audio issues are on my end.
Is this any better now that I've switched to a different source?
I just hit the refresh button. I'm just waiting for Coinigy to reload here. Do 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 do.
Looks like
Is the audio
there with that loading, but let's see.
GTIO? So is that gate? Huh. Well, seems Coinigy's having a little bit of a difficulty here with that one. I don't know if we can maybe do it on a different browser. Let's see what happens. Hey, there we go. Let's see if this
Adam
one loads.
says, I got filled on a nibble of OPM on Solana. Fjord highlighted in the after party last week.
Sweet. OPN?
Potato.
Yeah, Adam and I have been trading potatoes. He's got like a billion potatoes. Can you hear me?
I'm not sure if you're talking, Brian, but I don't hear you.
Yeah, I muted myself in the Zoom call, so maybe that's not a good idea. Okay, well, hey, we finally got the XEC chart to load, so that's encouraging. That was an interesting adventure. All right, what can we make out of this? I mean, everything I just said about the Verge. I mean, the good part about it is if you work with me long enough, you should be able to start seeing this stuff in your sleep. And you should start hearing all the expressions that I use week after week as you're actually looking at the price chart. So, I mean, not a big surprise. I think everybody can see exactly where you were supposed to be buying here. What's super cool about this chart is if we do our reload zones. Yeah, that potato is a fun one to trade. And really, I think I don't know whether I've told you this before, but I was actually telling the site members recently. Most of the reason why I do this is because I love the sport of this. So it's not really. I mean, the good part about it is that they always say, if you can do something in life that you enjoy, then it's not really working. So I just absolutely love the sport of it. And that potato is such a fantastic analogy that a lot of the times in this silly crypto space, uh, the tech people can get awfully full of themselves, and they can be like, like, have you ever seen? Did you remember when Roger Ver got into like a verbal shouting match with? Can't remember who the guy was, but Roger Ver forced a fork in Bitcoin, and his version of Bitcoin. Everybody called it Bcash.
Oh yes,
And it just made him so angry, and he just like literally lost it on social media and was like giving the guy the finger and all that. I mean, it was such a funny meme for a long time.
I
But
do.
these people can take this stuff so damn seriously. It's ridiculous. And if anything, this is exactly why I like to teach the sell half on a double and just get a risk-free trade. And then who cares what happens with the rest of it, right? And just think of it as a game. Think of it as sport. And if you can turn the tables on all these capitalists and win at their game. One of my favorite trades is when I see a bank promoting a name, and then I zip in and I do my banging out doubles kind of thing on something that they're promoting. Then I know that I'm taking the bank's money, and I love taking Joey's money. That is probably one of my absolute favorite things in the world to do. So Adam, and I'm so proud of you, Adam. I mean, the concepts that we teach are universal. The universe is a fractal. So it doesn't really matter what asset. It doesn't really matter what time frame. What really matters is you understand the basic premise of don't chase. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just that simple. And if you can like apply it, it's one thing to, all right, yeah, the beamer says don't chase, I better not chase, blah blah blah. But if you can actually apply this and force yourself to actually step in and buy against the bottom ends of ranges, and then conversely, when the asset actually starts to move up, you pay yourself for your hard efforts, and you're selling into strength, you're selling into the rally, and you're establishing those risk-free trades, then this becomes just a fun game. And the question is, how many doubles can you do? So we're over on Solana trading these meme names, and one of our favorite ones is this name called Potato.
Oh yeah.
It's good quality investment, blue chip investing. But who cares? I mean, if it keeps spitting out doubles, hey, their money is as good as anybody else's.
That's true.
So, same principle on this XEC. I mean, everybody should look at this chart and know exactly where the Beamish is going to want you to buy. And I'm not teaching you anything new here, folks. I don't think a lot of you that are new to trading have ever been formally introduced to what it is that we do. And it's not obviously in the 1%'s best interest to have the public educated like this. But if you can apply simple principles like Fibonacci retracement tool and just simply say, look, if a market retraces like 70 to 80% of whatever this big up move is, I want in. You can just how many times have I told you, Joe, how often I see the market will ultimately pivot off of that 78.6. I mean, it's ridiculous. I don't know if you've ever heard me
True.
say that
You
before.
have. And ironically, if you zoom out on this daily, we're right at the 78.6 on like the big grand scheme of
Wow, look at that, eh?
like, and if you do it from that low end to the top end, we're like
Uh,
just about at that high that we just recently hit
yeah,
is
interesting.
like right at that 78.6.
All right. Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it just goes to show. I mean, I always say candle bodies highs for trade location. Wicks and tails like to be eaten. To be perfectly honest with you, into this next cycle peak, I would not be surprised at the minimum this thing goes up and tests this key level here. So that's at the minimum. Let's see where that lines up. How many X's is that from where we are right now? That's way up there, eh? Holy moly.
Yeah.
And actually interesting, this is a really good example of like higher time frames because if we go to like a monthly chart, you probably actually see that W. Yeah, there it is, eh? Look at that. So, if anything, this is a great testament to the universe as a fractal. So, everything that we were doing off of the daily charts, you can apply the exact same principles to like the higher time frame charts, like the monthly charts. It's identical. And interesting, there's the monthly candle body highs for trade location. So, is there any upside to go here? Yeah, I think so.
I'd say so.
The problem here, if you go and chase a market like this here, keep in mind this is a monthly price chart. Could you have maybe 4 or 5 months where all we do is just maybe a little bit of back and forth here? Sure. I mean, look how long this W took to develop. So we tanked to new lows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months. So that's like literally what? 2/3 of an entire year. All you kids that are still in high school, that's like literally a full, what are you, a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior? I mean, or, I suppose in university it's the same sort of thing. Can you imagine that like a whole year that you're going to be in school, this thing is just going through the process of just trying to put in a W. So,
Moving along.
well, so the point being that, we've already popped here. Could we take a year to form the next W? Might. So, and then, I think it's probably a good idea that we stick to these lower time frame charts like a daily chart. And that way you're not sitting there forever. But you can see when the daily double bottom came in on this guy, that was back sort of November, I guess October, November, right? And actually, that makes perfect sense because we actually just went through a very significant celestial event right at the end of October here. That was an eclipse. And we went through sort of an eclipse window because there's first a lunar eclipse and then there's a solar eclipse, right? And then we just actually went through the exact opposite. So we just had a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. And I've been actually suggesting to a lot of people, and new people to investing never really understand any of this stuff. And so I don't blame you if you're like, I don't understand what the hell you're talking about, Brian. When was that? I think it was the end of March when we entered in this. But anyway, something along those lines. So I wouldn't be surprised if that eclipse actually was sort of the official kickoff and the whole world went into rally mode. Doesn't matter. I suppose the only place that didn't rally was China. China actually didn't rally either, but that, we've got a weirdo in control of our country right now, so that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, point of the matter here is like the U.S. equity market. And where is XEC actually? What's the? Did you actually give a description of what these guys do?
I said that. So XEC is the rebranded version of Bitcoin Cash ABC. Itself is a fork of Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. So
Yeah, I remember when they did that ABC. So I don't know where these guys are headquartered, but if they were in the American market, it wouldn't surprise me. But the Japanese market actually went quite crazy over the past 6 months or so. I think Korea also went pretty crazy. And of course, you all are fully aware of how crazy Bitcoin went and the whole crypto market. So, in a weird sort of way, I actually like this eclipse that just happened as sort of a pivot to mark the end of this move. And maybe, there'll be another eclipse that comes down the pike and these things should be basically equal. But the next one that comes down the pike, interestingly enough, is kind of the end of September, beginning of October. And I'm hearing a lot of people, especially like old timers like Larry Williams and stuff like that. When it comes to the stock market, they actually like the idea that we spend this window here while we're waiting for all the politics and stuff to play itself out for who's actually going to be officially the next candidates for the presidency of the United States of America, blah, blah, blah. Usually, actually, by about the end of the summer, coming out of that Democrat National Convention, we actually have a pretty good idea who's actually going to win the election. So, point here is you can see there is that sort of window of the Democratic Convention. And I would not be surprised if crypto, we're probably going to be presented with a half decent buying window come usually around my birthday. The market is kind of soft. The old expression in the stock market is sell in May and walk away. My birthday is May 11th, so it conveniently sort of lines up. And usually, interestingly enough, coming out of June and into July, actually, that's when we have a normal seasonal rally window. People think about the big crypto rally, window, all the teenagers down in mom's basement and stuff trading Dogecoin and stuff on their computers and stuff. Could this move actually go to new highs here through the summer? It could. I'm certainly not going to say that that's not realistic. The summer market is usually a pretty happy time for crypto. I would be cognizant, though, that probably end of August, beginning of September, there's usually seasonally a pullback in the market. And anybody who's traded crypto over the years, September is sometimes a tough period for crypto. Now, I think probably the biggest thing I'm concerned about right now, and we'll sort of cross the bridge, the entirety of this forecast, I'm not, we're way too early to really call that definitively. What I would just simply say is I'm quite concerned that heading into my birthday and usually the weak period in the market, these kind of assets are looking a little dangerous right now. And just like this kind of image here, and notice like this was July, August, September, October. So, if this is our peak here in April, so April, May, June, and then July, we start basing and start rallying again. That's kind of along this image. And then if I was going to do things like Fibonacci retracements, as I showed you in this particular study here, how that painted a pretty good buying window. Well, there's the buying window as I see it right now. Where I think you get, and actually really this is so simple because really all you got to do is just draw a trend line, right? There's the lowest low. There's the next higher low, or maybe that's the next higher low. It doesn't really matter. And there's your long-term trend line somewhere in that area. And you can see, oh, what a surprise. Long-term trend line lines up nicely with the reload zone. And you probably also could draw a trend line off of this peak down to that peak. And now you actually have a nice little window that if price did stab into this area, I think you find a lot of buying support down in this area. The problem here is that's not the case up here. This is actually a bit dangerous up here. And then also too, I would just simply add, look at just exactly like the Verge. If you actually bought this where you were supposed to buy it through 2023, and you're long from anywhere down in this area, so that's what the hell number is that? God, old man. So let's call it 3,000, right? We'll be generous. 3,000. So here is your, I would just do the lines on here. There is roughly your entry. We'll call that your entry. We'll do it mauve. Is that what color that is? I don't know. And where is a sell half on a double? You want to keep this as simple as possible. Yeah, it's going to be up around that 6,000 area. So once again, here's another perfect example where the public is probably coming in uber bullish and buying, and sadly, this is my sell half on a double. So that means by definition, the people that are coming in and FOMOing and chasing these up markets are actually buying our sell orders. This is the whole point of, people hate the 1%. They hate the institutions. They hate the banks. Why? Because they always win at this game, right? So the banks sell up markets. Institutional players sell up markets. And, there's an old adage that says if you can't beat them, join them. And I learned years ago, a long time ago, look at there's no way I can outsmart Joey. Joey is, he runs the goddamn US government. And of course he's an agent of the Rothschilds over there in Europe. Illuminati, 1%, Klaus and all those people, right? But why don't we learn from how they manipulate the market? Why don't we learn? And if it works for them, why don't we do it too? So this is a perfect example. This is exactly what, ironically enough, what I'm trying to teach all of you is I'm trying to turn you into institutional traders. That's the irony of all of this. So can I come in on the buy side here? No.
Gotta get back into the reload zone.
At the very least, I would say at the very least, what I would like to see is this, maybe even it looks like this, where we create a trading range in here. And then I'm just going to be hunting W's within the bottom end of the range. If this is the lowest low, and then we have another higher low, and then another higher low, then that's that bot setup that I showed you on the Verge. But the statistical odds are now that this thing really needs to come back down and trade back down at the bottom end of the range. And that's why we do things like reload zones, right? And statistically, this thing has come an awful long way in a short period of time. Could it go further? Sure. But, kind of like what we did on the Verge, it's the same logic here. If I come in on the buy side here, where do I have to see this thing go to actually get a double? That means I have to realistically see it go all the way up here. Maybe that's doable, but at the same time, too, where was the bottom? Well, the bottom's down here, so that means that I got to be able to risk down to there. And that's, you might be sitting on this thing for 6-8 months underwater. And that's a tough pill for a lot of new people to investing to swallow. I'll tell you. So I don't really like the risk reward matrix here, right? If I buy here, I got to risk all the way down to here because that's the bottom end of the range, way down there. And just to keep it really simple, I'll sell half on a double. That means I got to be able to see it go all the way up there. Maybe in the long term, that's doable. But I don't like chasing. I don't like buying up markets. I think you're far better off just to let this thing settle down and work its way back down. Kind of like what you see down here. And you can see like this thing pops up. Everybody gets all excited. Then it goes down. Then it pops up. 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 Is it likely maybe to go down? I don't know.
Good.
All right, so that's my 2 cents there. I think on balance, like over the long run, if you could have gotten this sell half on a double order off here, you're sitting pretty, right? And you could even just say, look, I'm going to put the rest of these coins on like a cold storage wallet and just forget about them and come back in a year or two. And my hunch is this thing's going to be right back up top. If you want to put new money to work here, I think you wait for the reload zone, which means that I want to be a buyer at about 3,300, somewhere in that area. All right, do you want me to give you this chart or is it just all gobbledygook? I don't know. It's up to you, Chief.
Yeah, send it over.
All right. Did you want the eclipse lines on here or is that?
No, you can leave them on.
Okay. Oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, I guess, yeah, there we go. All right. So my hunch is, and actually I do like this, that we are going through this halving event. This isn't the time to get bearish of crypto. I think it's just really a question of what price do you want to pay for your invest in dollars? And I would strongly, strongly suggest that pullbacks in this kind of environment are buying opportunities. That's got to be the theme of the market right now. We don't want to chase. And really, if you acted correctly, you should be sitting on a risk-free trade. And if we do get that pullback into buying windows, then we do what's called adding a second car. So, you have this free position established. You have your original capital back. We get a dip back down into reload zones. Then you add a second car to your adventure. Then maybe it pops up again. You sell half on a double, pulls back. Then you add a third car, etc., etc., etc. But we're in the environment right now where these pullbacks are definitely buying opportunities. All right. Hope I got that message across.
Yes. Thank you. All right. So, next one, C pool.
Yeah, I'm in that one. That's a funny one. Actually, we made quite a bit of money on this.
See it on Gate.
You want to try and use the Gate IO?
Yeah.
I don't know the fundamental story. People at TRI continually tell me the fundamental story. And I'm so stupid. I can't figure this stuff out. But, I mean, you should look at this chart and go, so you were buying at the bottom end of the range? Is that what you did here, Brian? Whoa, what a surprise.
Same story. So yeah, this is decentralized.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
It says Clearpool is a decentralized capital market ecosystem.
I know a lot of people really are bullish about this thing.
Yeah.
And I mean, what do we say about V tops and V bottoms?
Got somewhere.
Do we have some sort of rule about V tops and V bottoms?
V bottoms need to be tested.
All right. So what do you think about V tops?
Also like to be tested.
Yeah. So here we are at 23 cents. This is actually exactly the same as the previous name that we just looked at. Had you bought when this thing was bottoming out down here, hopefully you've got doubles and triples and quadruples and stuff off.
Yep.
But is this the end of the move? I don't think so. This is a yet another perfect example where I think pullbacks are buying opportunities. So if we actually zoom in on the recent price action, you can see, holy crap, this thing's gone a long way. Eh? That's a big move. And I think the team got me in somewhere down here. So, thank your lucky stars. I pull one out of my ass every once in a while. And we used to actually, through 2023, we have one guy on the site, a Romanian. The guy's totally awesome. I absolutely adore him. And through 2023, when I was going, get your shit together, load up. This guy bought everything, and he is going to be so freaking rich at the end of this goddamn cycle. So I'm so proud of him. And actually, I don't know what it is about the Romanians. They all seem to do really well with TRI. I think we're gonna try and do a next meetup. And Leandros, I don't know whether you're watching this later on. I know we don't get a lot of Europeans who watch this show because of the time for them. But Adam, maybe you can remind him. Adam was part of our El Salvador crew, and he got to know Leandros pretty well. But I think the plan is our next TRI meetup is going to be in Greece. And I think it would behoove Brian to maybe do a pit stop in Romania and do a tour of that country, because it's remarkable how many TRIers we have from Romania. Anyway, if anything, it's a beautiful testament that it's a beautiful testament about crypto, that it's like a global phenomena. There really are no national boundaries. The only sort of boundary is language. And unfortunately, I only speak English. So as a result, I mean, it's fortunate that such a large portion of the world does speak English. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So the point here is anybody who did take the sort of counsel to try and load up through 2023, this is the kind of life-changing events that happen to people. But the problem here, and I mean, this is the same thing as these other coins that we looked at. Can I justify coming in and buying an asset way up top
No,
there? I just
no.
can't. Sorry, folks. I'll draw good old reload zones and tell you where I want to reload if it does back up. And that would be down in here. And not really a big surprise. Notice 200 SMA, this most recent bottom. And what a pretty bottom that little W is right there, eh? Holy moly. And if anything, this is probably a really good example of a bot setup trend continuation. So I would go, and this is a good example where, that previous name, you were kind of like, well, you want to see a reload zone. I don't have to see a reload zone. What I really want to see is I want to see a consolidation in price, where instead of it going like straight up, it's actually just going sideways. And a lot of this sort of crazy public euphoria and stuff is coming out of the market. So here's a good example where we had a big run up. My bot setup says that I want to see at least a 33% correction, but no more than a 66. And then I'm just going to simply overlay this pattern to whatever the lows were, and then throw on my bot levels. And this is that Verge chart that I was showing you. It's basically the same concept. So we'll throw on our bot levels, boom, 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 and boom. And then let's flip this around. And actually what's super cool is this is a harmonic pattern. I'm sure I've talked to you guys about this before. But what that means is that we could potentially do an alternative version of this harmonic. An alt bat, as it were.
Okay.
And sure enough, look at that, 1.618. So I often say that if you ever do one of these measured moves, and it does, the bot setup itself would have you go long at this 25 level. I actually kind of like the idea of going long off of this triple bottom down here. That's so pretty. But, A to B, and then C to D. This is where I think, trading actually is like an art form more than a science. You have to get to the point where, if I actually pulled the trigger off of this little double bottom, that moving average cross, I mean, that's a really pretty little trade setup there. You can even see, if we use our, show me a W on the other side of a trend line. There's the prevailing trend line. There is the W on the other side, and away you go. Or you could have even waited. Look at that W, how it set up right off that 25 level there. So anyway, there were a number of different ways to get long. And then, taking profits, the bot simply says at each of these levels, there's different rules for sort of managing risk. And then I would actually like to take profits on this big spike into the AB equals CD level. Maybe leave a little bit on the books and have an order working at the 127. Leave a little bit on the books, have an order working at the 1.618. I will say that if you ever do see one of these alt ABCDs, and if you want to learn, just pause the video, take a screenshot of this, replicate every single thing that you see on the screen, and just if you have to watch this video a few times over to get what I'm saying, well, that's fine. There's no hurry. But I will say that if you ever do see one of these alt ABCDs that goes up to 1.618 here, this is almost an absolute lock that that's the end of that move. And sure enough, back down we go here. So not really a big surprise that the top came in here. But the point here is that you're on the sell side of the market here, right? Selling, this is sort of the default bot profit of selling. Sell some more, 127. Okay, fine. Sell some more, 1.61. Selling, right? And if I actually bought here and I wanted to do the little old lady, just sell half on a double, again, I'm not buying right now. I'm selling right now. So what is that? That's 10. That's 20 right into there. I'm selling half on a double, right? Into these rallies. I'm establishing risk-free trades. I'm not buying here. I think that's really important for everybody to hear. Could we do, and now this is where, this is probably, yeah, there's two ways to approach the market, I think. There is a value trading, and so that would be things like this measured move. We would like to ideally see the retracement 61.8, and let's maybe even just throw which one should we use? Whoops. All of these are important numbers. Yeah, let's do this one. 0.618 to
You got the
786. Right?
You gotta add the point to in front of that.
Oh, yeah, you're right. In fact,
Otherwise,
you have to go zero
way
point.
up there.
There we go. So we do something like that. And this is what I would call the value window, right? You ever hear me talk about the reload zone?
Yes, sir.
But sometimes markets just don't want to come back down into value. We see a consolidation. We start to see higher lows in price. Maybe we look at our indicators, and through this period here, we start to see, what do we call this where you see lower prices, but the indicators are actually making higher lows?
Was it convergence or divergence?
Divergence.
Yes.
So the point here is, we look at our indicators. Willie's stupidly oversold. W's coming in on RSI. W's in Willie. W's in OBV. That's a fun little setup that actually Crypto OG actually, when he was at TRI, we developed that setup, and it works really, really great. But anyway, point of the matter here is I think there was lots of reasons to get bullish through here, but we never did come back down into value. So I actually think it's super important that people understand there's two perspectives, right? There's the value trade, and cheap asses like Brian, he loves value levels because I don't like overspending. But you got to understand sometimes the market, there's so much demand that we actually call this the bot setup, going long off of the 25 level, right, which would be right off of there, and risking here. This is our risk window, right? We would call that the momentum trade. So at any given point in time, you can have both types of trades set up. Are you a cheap ass and you're a value person? Maybe you're a fundamental analyst. Well, you probably want to focus in on reload zones. If you're just trading with the market inertia, and look at, I don't really care about value. I just want to buy what's going up and sell what's going down. Well, then a lot of times it's these momentum trade setups that actually get you to just hop in on a trending market. So as I had on here just a minute ago, if we're going to do the value proposition, and this correction is of some serious size, and that's just, Brian's opinion, then I think that we come back down to 200 SMA, 78.6 fib against most recent market structure lows, and we set up a value trade, right? Reload zones, but it doesn't have to. We might find that this whole move does one of these bot kind of setups, and we get 3 higher lows, and we want a W on the other side of a trend line. So we're way too early to be thinking about that kind of stuff now. So there's your trend line. I notice here, right? See how long this took to break out? So I wouldn't be surprised if that correction has the same sort of duration. It's going to take a while for this to turn. And then, as I said, May's coming up here seasonally. It's been a tough time in the market anyway. So to see this thing correcting and cleaning itself up through this window seasonally makes perfect sense. All right, so I don't know whether that gives you an idea of what I'm thinking on a name like this. I can't be a buyer here just yet.
No.
And if I did, this is the same sort of thing. That says 78.6, and that's 9 cents. So I would be happy to be a buyer around a dime on this thing. Yeah, so that's your value level.
Gotcha. Actually, if you could send me a screenshot of that one.
Yeah, let's see if we go. Why don't we go something like there to there, and then where this ultimate low is, right? That would be. And let's flip this around. Oh, we don't need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Need that. Need that. And need that. We don't need that. And let's flip this around. Oof. All right. So there's your momentum setup. And interesting, you can even see how the market is using this level. So the momentum setup's going to have to see a move on the other side of that. Give me a W and something along those lines. The value trade means we come all the way back down into reload zones. We're probably also going to have to play with this trend line. And really, you can use the same logic. Can I please get a W on the other side of this trend line? So I think there's actually two very realistic scenarios: momentum trade and value trade. All right, let's go. You want the link?
Yeah, the link's good. I
All
can
right.
still get there.
Actually, I think I just gave you the picture of the other one. Sorry.
That's fine. I can get the picture from.
Oh, yeah, it is the same chart. Where am I? Yeah, I'm posting this to you. No, it isn't. Isn't that interesting? So that posted that image. Oh, so let's delete that. And let's try again. Oh, look at that. It's still trying to find the link. All right. So I don't know how long that's going to take.
No worries. We can grab it after needed.
Uh,
copied. It's copied.
Okay. So let's go paste. And
Perfect.
there you go.
All
right.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Hopefully that helps. I mean,
I like the momentum versus the value trade. I got some price alerts set there.
So, yeah, well, and remember, folks, that if you are new to this game, I would recommend that you default to value trading.
Yeah.
Understand that if you trade momentum, there's a very realistic possibility that the momentum of the market fails and you have to go into risk management mode, which often means that you have to just simply walk away from the trade. And frankly speaking, anybody who's watching this, if you need guidance and you need help in understanding yourself and how to set yourself up to do this, this is the whole point of our education program. It is very methodical. It's step by step. It's incredibly intensive. We give you all of the tools to self-regulate yourself, which is really difficult because, I mean, Joe, are you going to come track these people down and make sure that they're behaving themselves?
Nope.
You answered that pretty quick.
Nope. Yeah, I keep track of myself here.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard enough to just keep track of yourself, right?
Exactly.
So, this is not easy. I mean, everybody watching this video, please understand. When I was a fellow of the Canadian Securities Institute, like I told you at the very beginning of this broadcast, I had actually a legal obligation. And in Canada, when you're a stockbroker, you're a licensed advisor, you are legally liable. You have what's called a fiduciary responsibility. And I don't know, maybe pause the video and Google what the hell is a fiduciary. I am morally obligated to keep you people out of trouble. But God, you don't hear anybody in our society talk like this. And it just makes me sick to my stomach because I've seen people lose ridiculous amounts of money in the marketplace. And nobody is trying to slow you down and trying to get you to act responsibly. Except for this idiot guy called Beamish. I don't know why I do this, but this is... I don't know. Joe, you know my story from my wife, right? I don't know if you've ever heard that, right? So yeah. I'm on this really weird mission. I am an agent of the Lord. I don't want to get religious, and you can be Hindu Lord, it can be Christian Lord, it can be Jewish Lord. I don't really care. It can be Muslim Lord. but I am an agent of the Lord and I'm trying to help you people. I really am. And that comes from the bottom of my heart.
Making a positive difference in the world.
There you go. Amen. Well said. All right, let's hit another name here before we run out of time. And actually, oh, have we? How long have we been going here?
Hour and 15 so far.
Okay, that's not bad. All right,
Yeah.
yeah, let's do another one.
All right. Let's do caps. CAPS/USD.
Whoops, that's not the button I wanted to push. This one. Oh, fudge. Now what have I done? What a knucklehead. CAPS, right?
Yeah, on gate.
On gate. So is that what this GTIO is?
Yep.
All right, and that's that USDT. Isn't that interesting how people have just assumed that USDT is sort of the standard now? I wonder if there's a big trap being laid there.
You never know.
Yeah, you don't. All right, so should be as plain as day where the W is.
Yep.
I can see nice W's in momentum, volume momentum, price momentum. More price momentum W's. Willie stupidly oversold. So, I mean, it looks like the investor signal is right off of this massive W. And that's sort of like, kind of like that name. Remember, we had that monthly W. So, this is a good example of a weekly W. You can clearly see where the investor signal is. Right? Beautiful chart, actually. I mean, this is everything that I'm trying to teach you people. So check out, what do you think the odds are that this W comes in a reload zone?
Probably pretty dang high.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff, it's so funny how it writes itself. The only problem is that this doesn't happen very often. It only happens about once every 4 years. And so you're all lucky now watching this video. We're about, I don't know, 6, 8 months following the breakout, following that 4 year cycle bottoming pattern. So you're just seeing these things as all this principle plays itself out. There's good old this what in the education program we call this the line in the sand, because literally this is the last point that if this thing is still a bull, the institutional people will step up and defend it. And once again, can you see how we went down, up, down, up, down, breakout? Right. So, like, literally, the war was right off that darn 78.6 level. I mean, you can't script this any better.
No.
If you want to let the market actually bottom and you're like, well, Brian, I want to see a W first before I actually believe that there is any low. Well, you can just take your reload zone tool and we'll go off of that level there and notice the pullback was right into that mountain man level. You can say, well, I missed that opportunity. Okay, well, let's just do it again. Pullback. I mean, look how pretty that is. It's like just so textbook. In fact, actually, we have a name for this setup on the site. We like to call it the shark setup. Where you get the market pull back into the original market structure bottom. And if it sets up off the 78.6 level, this one actually set up a little bit higher. But if you just had your open order working, hey, look at, I want to buy this W down in here. You got to fill there. You got to fill here. And then you notice there's even a cute little W that comes in right here. You got to, that might have been a little bot setup or something. But anyway, the point of the matter is there's your big fat W. This is a weekly price chart, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go back down to that daily chart. And there is the stab into that original market structure bottoming area. And I might even argue off this is actually probably a really good example where if you were like that value purchaser, there's the W, and look at that beautiful. This is what we call a Wyckoff check. So the market comes down, checks the original double bottom level, and then takes off. So I have a feeling that that's sort of the buy if you want to be like, oh, look at me, I'm like super trader dude. Not going to say that that's an easy trade for the public to do. That would probably take a little bit of skill. What I think this probably did do, though, is it probably set up a W on the other side of trend lines. Really, I mean, hell, you could do that. Down, up, right? Breakout over here, which is probably a bought trend continuation trade taking us up top. If you bought the original bottom, and again, this is exactly what we just said there for like the past hour. 2023, where the hell's 23? 23 started here. You know, you would have been best, no, don't chase, draw your reload zones. And then this is, get your act together. All right, I've got this really cool name. I love the story. Everything's totally awesome. And actually, what I would say is this is actually a very old pattern. Probably easier to see it on the weekly chart, but this is kind of like down and then like so. Um, but the the easy way for you to see this is just down, up, down, breakout, right? So think W.
Mm-hmm.
Whoops. Right, there's the W right there. So V bottom, mind you could go, well, Brian, isn't that a W? Yeah. And maybe if we change it back to the weekly chart, you'll see that a little bit better. V bottom, straight up, and then the market pulls all the way right back down to the bottom, and then it puts in this beautiful W here. What do we call this? This is, again, pause the video, take a screenshot of this, see if you can replicate this. This is a time-tested principle in the market, and we run a stock pickers club. Every Tuesday we have our stock picker club meeting. And sort of our quarterback for the Tuesday stock picker club meeting, a gentleman by the name of David. He absolutely loves and lives by this concept. Do you know what this is called when you see this sort of V over here and then a really nice, well-defined W over here?
That Adam and Eve.
Yeah. So, Adam, of course, think biological things.
Yeah.
And then Eve, of course, nice J-Lo booty bottom, right? So, absolutely textbook. Pause the video. Take a screenshot of this. This is trading 101. And interestingly enough, on this one, if you would, let's go back to the daily chart. If you had bought this, bottom where you were supposed to. Oh, come on. All right, down in here. And I think this is really, oh my goodness, one hell of a buy right there. What is that? 1.7. So you should be selling half at like 3.4, 3.5. That's into this area here. Another perfect example where institutional players are buying the bottom ends of markets and then they're selling to the public. Yeah, so let's say 3.5, somewhere up in that area. On this big blow off top here, they are selling to the public into this rally. And of course, if you are the public and you're buying, you're chasing, you're buying up markets, odds are you're probably buying our sell orders. And thank you very much in advance. I appreciate it. Who do you want to be in the marketplace? What do we call these people in this wick right up here, Joe?
Sleeping on the couch.
Do you want to be sleeping on the couch?
Nope.
I think Abigail would not appreciate all her hard efforts. Going for naught, right? And it turns out, Joe, you're buying Brian's sell orders. I'm working all my life trying to save and trying to get ahead in this world, and you're buying Brian's sell orders? What are you, crazy? No, anyway, Brian just being stupid. Point here is I want you to be this person buying against the bottom end of the range. I don't want you being the person who buys up here. But the cool part about this is this maybe actually correcting to the point where we might actually think about stepping back in on the buy side?
Getting to that reload zone.
Yeah, so here's our fun little fib tool. We've already got the bottom drawn down here. And we drag this up to the most recent high, and lo and behold, look where we are. And actually, this is actually a really good example. Adam, our buddy over there, longtime viewer, first time caller, something like that. Anyway, what do we call this setup now? That's setting up right off your 78.6. I mean, we have a setup name on the site for this setup, but since Adam loves this so much, and I
Adam
love
Shark?
calling, huh?
Is this Adam Shark setup?
Yeah, but actually, we even have a funny, colorful name because Adam is from a specific part of California, just south of you. Um, Adam, we're calling it in Adam's honor the Sacramento Slap, where it slaps that 78.6 and then takes off of there. Adam's such a sweetheart. So, ironically enough, we're actually coming to a point where I really don't have a problem if you said, well, Brian, I sold half on a double. I got my first car bought and paid for, and it's on the car carrier. And now I'm going to come back in and I'm going to buy my second car with that original capital. It's the same logic. Nothing changes. Isn't that cool?
That is.
And it's like literally happening right in front of your eyes. So here's an offering from tonight's show that you can actually even go, well, you know what? Why don't I go and throw a stink bid off of this thing? The only problem with these kind of names is, do you have an account on this GTIO?
I used to, and then they kicked us out.
Yeah, well, there you go. Do you have an account on Hitbit? I doubt it. That's a
Yeah.
pretty esoteric exchange. So, do you have an account on Bybit? Is that what BYBT is? I think it's
Yeah.
Bybit. So, depending on your jurisdiction, your dear leader, while they're sniffing children's hair, might actually make it illegal for you to participate in a name like this because it doesn't meet hair sniffing criteria.
Yeah. Do you think that U.S. can trade on five? Maybe. Nope, I was going to. Your IP address indicates you're located in one of five its restricted countries.
There you go. So, I mean, this is the tragedy of the way crypto is going right now is the people that are living in countries where their fiat currencies are worthless and they're going through the process of great resetting their countries. They would prefer to close any exits, any means for you to avoid the great reset. And I think that's what's happening to our Western civilization right now. Just kind of tragic. Oh well, it is what it is.
Bummer.
Yeah, and unfortunately, how is your good neighbor Joey Diamond gonna sponsor a show like this when Brian drops bombshells like that? Again, I have a fiduciary responsibility. We don't have any corporate sponsor other than, of course, Coinigy's bosses, and I hope that I don't know. The feedback that you got from your bosses is they're relatively okay with my rants, eh?
I haven't been told not to talk to you.
Okay, so there you go. I mean, I was relatively politically correct. I didn't drop any real nasty f bombs or anything there. I never go out and name names, so you're gonna have to figure out who Joey is when I make reference to that. Do you know who Joey is when I make reference to Joey?
Got an idea.
All right. Anyway, Joe won't name names, and no, it's not Joe from Coinigy. It's another character in our society that we all dearly love. Anyway, point of the matter here is this is actually a name that you can take a screenshot of that and go. So this is a setup when it comes back to that 78.6 off of this original market structure that Beamish guy that's been in the market for 35 years. And seems to teach people how to trade. I've been teaching this education program for 10 years now. An actual decade I've been doing this. I can't believe it. Remarkable. So anyway, there's a really good example of a name that I actually like. Now, if you want to maybe time your purchase, just looking at this chart, maybe show me a W on the other side of the trend line. We are on the other side of the trend line now. If you want to just wait for some sort of W to form here, you've got location. I suppose we could also check out our indicators. Oh, what a surprise. They're going into divergence. Willie is stupidly oversold. Yeah, hey, if a W comes along here, I think that's actually a pretty darn good looking buy. So let's keep our eyes peeled. And unfortunately, this is also a conversation. Can we even participate in this, or are the powers that be in our respective countries prohibiting us from being free? Well, that's another question altogether, right?
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on. What time is it here? 6:30. So we've got time maybe for one or two more.
Yeah. All right. Big House says, with all these meme coins being created like Costco hot dog, signal some short. There's an emoji that's blocking what they're saying. Some short big top coming up.
I would say that when the market goes speculative, remember when Alan was on Saturday Night Live?
Oh yeah.
That's a great analogy of what market tops look like. It was funny when that was happening. That Dogecoin just went absolutely crazy as a kind of a meme. I mean, nothing ever really came of it on the other side of that, and the coin had to work its way all the way right back down to the bottom. Um, the problem here is, did the market top out the day Alan was on Saturday Night Live? No. And it took like months for sort of the inertia to sort of dissipate.
Yeah.
So I agree that a lot of these, in a weird sort of way, it's sort of like, does the tail wag the dog or does the dog wag the tail? So every 4 years, and you see this chart, I mean, it was quite a bit higher, and it had to come all the way back down to earth. Now, did it come back down to earth? 2021 peak. 2022 was a mess. 2023 was get your what together?
Your act.
Right. And Joe's so politically correct. He's so awesome. Hugs and kisses. He's gonna be. I wouldn't be surprised if he's like a major leader of Oregon society down the road here. It would not surprise me at all. Senator, I could see you, Senator Joe.
I'm not getting into politics, I'll tell you that much.
Well, but like the senators, once you get to that stage,
Yeah.
it's almost like you're like a really well respected person in that particular state's society.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm
We'll
crazy.
see.
I could see it. I could see it. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
Understand.
Point here is I mean, you can see this pump up here, right? This was the very beginning of 2023. And I mean, I can't remember just off the top of my head, but I'm sure there was speculative fervor in the market around this event. Yeah, I can't really remember just off the top of my head.
My birthday.
Is that, yeah, right around the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember because when you got back from that trip back east, your better half threw you a surprise party. You said, right?
That is true.
Yeah. So anyway, the point being that maybe this isn't the best example, but if we look at, I think SHIB is a fantastic. I'm long a whole bucket load of this thing. I'm not quite sure where the hell to look at this. Where should we look at this? SHIB.
Maybe.
I like this as Bitstamp. Where's that? That's
You want to wait to do DT, but
it was
then see Coinbase.
Coinbase, CBSE. All right, there you go. All right. Is this a good proxy for that meme coin kind of environment? I think so.
Ay, caramba.
Yeah, I mean I mean beautiful W. I mean, can you everybody again, this is I mean, I hope you can appreciate, Joe. This is the big thing that you have to learn. And you just went through this.
Mm-hmm.
Every 4 years, this whole space bases like this, and we start the whole damn game all over again.
Right.
Um,
Blast off.
right, so 2023 was that accumulation year. This is also another great example of, are you a value investor? And if so, would you have any business whatsoever thinking about buying this thing? There's
Yeah.
78.6s. So you know how much Brian loves that 78.6. Are we now at 78.6? No.
No, sir.
So can we make the argument this is a value trade? No. You know, but does that mean that we can't make another leg higher? No, that doesn't mean that at all. There's an old expression from Adam Smith. He always says, market can remain illogical far longer than any of us can remain solvent. And that's the whole tulip phase craze and all that. And of course, every 4 years, Bitcoin goes absolutely nuts, and everybody in the public gets to the point where they say things like, "You have to be long crypto." When people start talking like that, then you know that there's danger. And I do think that about a month or so ago, we actually did start hearing people talk like, "You have to be long crypto." And it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
no, you don't. You don't have to do anything other than die and pay taxes. Other than that, you don't have to do anything in this life. But could we remain stupid and illogical, and then this thing, there's so much inertia in the market, and these silly, the central banksters decide to lock us all in our prison cells again and start printing money because we're going through the Great Reset, and they need to buy the public's vote. Is that what happened there with the sickness? I don't know. It's a whole conversation unto itself. But you can see, I mean, what a big surprise. You can see the W that's trying to form. And if we're human and we're stupid and this thing just wants to continue on, you can see the momentum setup. It's as plain as day. What I would say though is, remember, Brian's a cheap ass. I would personally prefer, and especially if I want to just, actually say, it's pretty safe to come in here and just buy, and maybe, little old lady, don't worry too much. You're coming in at the bottom end of the range, so odds are you're probably near some sort of floor. You might just sit there and not do anything for a year or two, but odds are you're coming in at value.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the situation right now. It just isn't. So if this does come in and you can see where the bot entry is, and we can throw on the alt A B C D levels, so all you moon boys have a pretty good idea where the hell this thing could moon. Well, I told you before, 1.618s make excellent sort of the odds of this market going much further. Oh, and what a surprise. Look at that. What a coincidence, eh?
Yeah.
So, if they want to do absolutely crazy stuff here, they might just A, B, C, D this thing right up against those old highs. And of course, all the people that did buy here, that bought up markets and then chased, where did we say these people in particular are sleeping right
On the
now?
couch.
There they are, right? They're just sitting there. Acosta's telling them to get the hell off my bed, damn you.
Yeah.
But there they are, sleeping on the couch. They would love to get released, right? These people are like, please bring the price back up here. I will sell and I'll never buy this goddamn crap again. And keep in mind, as a broker, I used to have customers that would literally say that to me to my face. So, just understand that really there's nothing actually. And you know what's also interesting too is when we were going through this phase here, man, you sure heard a lot of people going, "Oh, this time it's different. This time it's different." And no, no, folks, there's nothing new. There's nothing different about any of this. It's actually incredibly cliche. So, there's your market. Are you a momentum person? Well, keep your eyes peeled on this. Looks like, and I just eyeballed these numbers.
Yeah.
Pause the video, replicate take a screenshot, replicate the studies exactly as you see them drawn. Then go in and laser beam focus on these levels to make sure that the numbers are absolutely correct. But as it stands right now, just eyeballing it, if you see this guy up through this 335, then it means that the momentum trade is underway. And, move stop to scratch, move stop to trailing, start selling, sell some more, sell some more. And if we get up to this 1618, then okay, this thing is exhausted. And I mean, that'll be a hell of a move, if that did happen. If you're a cheap ass, then you just leave this thing alone. And you say, look at if it comes back down to the bottom, and that's the whole reload zone. In fact, actually, we can even, for fun, show you where I would consider the venture capital, which this stuff clearly is. The venture capital reload zone, 78.6 to 88.6. And you can see, look how that 88.6 is right off that original bottom. Now that's a Sacramento slap if I've ever seen one. Anyway, there you go. Interesting levels, eh? You want a screenshot of that one?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Love that. Is there any moving over to?
Well, this is, and just to finish off this thought, this was speaking to the whole meme coin nonsense. So, and remember I started off this conversation, does the tail wag the dog or does the dog wag the tail? Is this market moving up because it is that specific part of the 4-year cycle where these kind of assets start to outperform as the market sees that the economy is kicking back in, and it's a function of interest rates and the business cycle, and people are working. I think the unemployment rate down in the States is at like a historic low right now, isn't it? I mean, everybody's working that wants a job. So is this what you see on the screen here? Because keep in mind, the only way you're going to get this price up here is if people have money and they're buying. Right? Mm-hmm. I can absolutely guarantee you if there's no buyers here, there's no way in hell this thing's going to go up like this. It's just not going to happen. The only way that you can get price to lift is people must buy. So somebody's spending money. So is this more a function of the business cycle and where we are in this respective part of the cycle versus this being a wonderful, fundamentally sound investment idea? I actually think that this is a function of that particular part of the cycle. What I would say is there's an old expression, and of course it involves a swear word, so my apologies. Mind you, I suppose I could say it without a swear word, but it doesn't carry as much weight.
Go for it.
But they always say in the market, the shit always rises last. So, like at the beginning of 2023, isn't that when Bitcoin actually bottomed and started to move up?
Yeah.
I think so. And like Ethereum bottomed and it started to move up. And now all of a sudden, these guys coming in here, basically not even 2023, 2024. And all of these memes and stuff that really isn't of any real intrinsic value. Potato coin. I mean, what are you supposed to do?
Wow.
What are you supposed to do with a potato coin? I still don't even know. But if you can bang out 10 doubles on potato coin, well, what the hell? That money buys a Lambo just as good as anything else. So is it a function of where we are in that 4-year cycle that these particular pieces of wonderfulness are rallying? And is that an anecdote that we as smart investors, and this is to answer your question, sorry it took forever to get to it, are we, and this is super important, maybe even make like a timestamp of this because it's this important of a concept. Can you listen to the market? Because in a way, Big House, what you're doing is you're identifying how the market is actually speaking to us. So, can you actually listen to the market? The market is talking to us. And these little memes and, wonderful, funny, dog with hat, you know, that kind of rally. Do you guys remember last go round? It was those apes, right? Do you remember the ape things?
Yeah, the NFTs.
Yeah. I mean, to all intents and purposes, this is this particular cycle's version of that. And isn't that kind of the same thing? So, Big House, excellent that you identify this. And keep in mind, the public, they don't hear the market talking to them. Maybe I've been at this game too long. They always say that, it's perfectly fine if you talk to yourself, but if you actually start hearing yourself respond, that's where it gets a little dangerous. So, uh, the question is, can you hear the market actually talking to us? Now that if the market is actually speaking to you in words, then okay, maybe we have a case to see a psychiatrist. But I hope you get my joke. I hope you get
Yeah.
the gist of what I'm trying to say, because I think you're absolutely right. The market is actually talking to us through its behavior right now, and you're spot on. You're absolutely spot on, and I would agree with you. The only problem with that is, what's the catalyst that is going to stop that behavior? Just because it's happening, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's come to an end. But you have to recognize where we are. And if you had bought off of this bottom here and you were selling into this rally, then you're like, fucking hey man, look at all the money I'm making, I'm totally kicking butt. And if you are like, well, I want to trend continuation trade this, you have to understand the context of the market. And if you look at all of these little names like the potato, same sort of thing, you just have to put this into context. And I might argue that there needs to be some sort of catalyst that actually marks the end of this stupidity. So, like the previous cycle, the utter arrogance of somebody like Do Kwon, basically saying, I can replicate the US dollar and I can print as many of these things as I want, and US regulators, go F yourself. He
Mm-hmm.
doesn't really care. And of course, that was like that in itself was the market speaking to us, that when these 20 something year olds start to actually act like they're invincible, that in itself is the market speaking to you, and you need to recognize that. Now, just because he was acting that way, that didn't mean that the Luna story was over. But you needed to recognize that, so when Luna was 50, 60, 70, $80, you were not coming in on the buy side of the market. So what do you think, Big House? Does that answer your question? That's a more advanced question that the public probably won't understand.
Thank you for that explanation. I've got some notes down on it, though, some
Good. Good.
info.
Yeah, I mean that was a really good little learning piece there. If I don't know whether I might even show this to Chris and ask him if he can just clip that out, because that's that's the fiduciary in me speaking to you all. I mean, I could just simply say, "Oh yeah, buy SHIB. You're guaranteed to make money. You're gonna do great." That's not really responsible broadcasting. But the problem is a lot of times what I do is I scare the poop out of you people. And I might even scare people away from actually going in and buying stuff. And in a weird sort of way, I actually declare victory if I have scared you. If I think that I've put the fear of God into you, then it means that I've done my job. Because keep in mind, 90 to 95% of the people that play this game lose. They don't make money at this. So you have to take things like a risk first approach. You have to be scared. You have to be worried. My old boss, Johnny Oakland, he used to always say, You can make all the money you want, but you have to understand as a trader, we are paid to worry. That's how we get paid.
Uh-huh.
So you got to force yourself to come in and buy at the bottom of the market when nobody wants this stuff. That you have to step into the breach. And if anything, if you see everybody in the public going all crazy ape shit, oh, bullish circle jerk, hey, buy my $5,000 Gucci sweater, learn how to trade. All you got to do is just, close your eyes and buy Bitcoin and you'll make a fortune. And that's $5,000, please. Thank you very much. All of those are tells. They're all warnings. And you have to understand that as a professional. The market speaking to us.
Good on you, Omar. Omar says sold 2 doubles of sheep. Now just have $1,000 worth left of the peak. Got the doubles off.
Damn straight. And you don't know how, the irony of it all is that $1,000, this thing might 100x into that, and that's now $100,000. You can actually buy something of, hey, you could go to McDonald's with that kind of money.
Yeah.
So, and I would strongly suggest to Omar that if we do pull back, kind of like what usually always happens, that you just go and strap on another car when we come back down to the bottom. Right? So, anyway, that's for whatever it's worth. I'm trying to do this in cold storage wallet land, and I did get off one double, and I missed my second double. The Omar did get his off, lucky bastard. But I do have my order working up top here. I don't know whether I'll get filled or not. I have no idea. But yeah, I did get one double off, but I missed my second double. Bastards. And that's the one thing about hair sniffing politicians in our world. They're making it actually much, much harder for us to do this, which is such a shame because it's a lot of fun when I'm over on there on the Solana on that Jupiter, and man, it's so much fun just to sit and place your open orders and work. But even there, like in the futures industry, if the market trades one tick above your sell order or below your buy order, you can actually go to the exchange and demand a fill. They will guarantee you your fill. The way that we've had to do this now with all of these hair sniffing regulations, it's actually very difficult to get fills now. It's a challenge. It's such a shame. And it doesn't have to be this way. If people, if the government would say, you know what, maybe listen to that Beamish guy and we'll endorse you to learn how to play this game correctly and not get suckered in to all the shills and the circle jerkers and the $5,000 Gucci sweater courses, how to buy Bitcoin. Just circle the Bitcoin on a whiteboard, and there you go. Thank you for your $5,000. If we could just educate people, then you wouldn't have to worry about the hair sniffers banning this stuff. So, oh well, it is what it is.
Understandable. Josh, nice to see you.
Hey, yeah. Oh, Josh Morris, he's over there in the UK. PMA for the, it says PMA for the MFW. I don't know what MFW is.
MF win.
I think that's a British term, if I'm not mistaken.
Something like that.
Okay, we probably got time for one more, eh? We'll sneak one more in, then call it a day.
How about we sneak one over from the DeFi Solana side of things?
All right. That means we're going to have to go over and look at Bird Eye, right? You're okay with that?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right. So where is our Bird Eye? I think that's this thing here. This is actually a name I'm trying to buy over there. I sure like the look of that chart, eh? Jesus, so pretty. 78.6. I could actually justify stepping in here at 85.70, which is basically where we are now. I tried to get a fill here, but I don't think that the Jupiter actually worked the order. I was kind of bummed. Anyway, all right. So, does this chart kind of look familiar? This kind of chart pattern?
Yeah.
This is what I do. It doesn't really matter where. I could be trading crude oil. I could be trading S&P 500 stock futures. I could be trading Bitcoin. I could be trading this WYNN. I don't even know what the fuck this thing is. But when I see down at the bottom of the range putting in W's, this is a no-brainer. I want to buy this every day of the week. So anyway, what should we look at?
So we did have someone asking Trojan on Solana.
Trojan?
Yeah. See if
Trojan? Trojan. There you go. All
yeah,
right, we got Trojan on Solana.
yeah, the top one.
We've got a used condom. No, that's
the
not
top one.
All right, all right. That's Brian being stupid.
POS.
Be careful and keep in mind too, everybody. Right? We don't put a lot of money in these Solana names. This is as I was saying. You know, we're playing the penny slot markets here, folks. Please understand this. You are playing like the junior part of the speculative part of the market. And I don't know what it is that you're seeing in this. There's not a hell of a lot for Brian to get excited about here. Yeah. I suppose if you really want to try and figure something out, this is the thin of the thin. You're really scraping the bottom of the barrel here.
Person section. You look at this. I heard they have a cool Telegram trading bot and a big airdrop coming soon.
Okay, so and keep in mind, right, the whole airdrop that's the way that they sucker you into this. Next thing you know, they're going to tell you that you get 10,000 APY if you just hold the coin, and you got to stake it and you got to lock it in for the next 2 years. And you go 10,000%. All right, here comes my Lambo, and then boom, and it's gone.
Like that South Park meme, and it's gone.
Yeah. So caveat emptor, right? Buyer beware. I don't know whether something like this could even get me even the slightest bit interested. Problem here too is like, what's the volume on these moves? So that says what the hell does that say? 256 million of these damn things at like 0.0000000000000. What the hell's the price? What is that? That's a 5, right? So 5 zeros. So understand what the hell you're getting involved in here, people.
Exactly.
Just out of curiosity, I'm just curious how much money this is. So 5 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2, 3, 7, 8, 7. Even times, what was this bar? This was 131 million. So I'd just be curious to see how much money this actually represents. Probably not much. And where did they get filled? Did they get filled down here? Did they get filled up here? I don't know. That's a tough one. But what did we say this was? This was 131 million, right?
Yeah.
So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So let's see how much money this actually is. $300.
Yeah. Well,
so
are there any interesting things? I know that NVDA, the NVIDIA, that's stock one that kind of got turned into a DGen coin here.
This one, NVDA?
Yeah.
I got a bit of this. I kind of like the look of this chart. It's not a bad looking chart. I mean, you can see I got a whole bunch of these funny little things, including like the political ones and stuff. NVIDIA is an interesting stock because the stock itself actually looks very dangerous, but it's come a million miles, eh? So you can see where I was buying. I like the idea of buying against the low end of the range here. I got to sneeze. Hold on.
Bless you.
Bless you. Oh, just 2. That's bad luck. Chris would always likes me to have 3. anyway, so I placed an open order down here. I got some filled right away on this breakout. And then I had to wait, and it finally came back down and I got the rest of my order filled. So if you're looking for a level to get long, I really like this. And notice, look how it put in a double bottom right off that level. So I don't know. That might have been the fact that TRIers saw the price that I was willing to pay. What does that say? 8724
Yeah.
with like 500 zeros behind it. So, just understand you're buying really, really low cap stuff here. I think I threw maybe like $50 at this or something like that. You can see where my sell half on a double order is, and I'm perfectly fine just to sit there and do nothing. Um, you know, give me one of these candles here, and then all of a sudden this thing actually turns into some serious money.
Yeah.
But the most important thing I want to do at the very least is I want to get into that risk-free trade. So give me that risk-free trade. Give me my double here. Then I'm just playing with the market's money, and then whatever the hell you crazy kids want to do with this thing, it's fine by me. Go nuts. But give me that double. That's what I want. I'm a risk-free kind of guy. And if I can get my original capital back in my hands ASAP, that's exactly what I will do. So, it's a pretty good analogy. I do like, this price action down against the bottom end of the range, and you can see these wicks. They have a history of popping this thing. So I'm more than happy if I get my double there. I'll let them have some. You can see, Joe, where are these guys, unfortunately? Where are they sleeping right now?
On the couch.
Right? They would love to get released. So give me a pop up in here, which releases them. And once that happens, then I haven't got a care in the world. So this is actually one I just recently bought. Can I justify coming in on the buy side up here? Yeah, I don't know. If anything, what I would say, if you want to join me, just draw your reload zones. In fact, here on Bird Eye, we do it a little bit different. So it's sort of like a default template they have. But notice, actually, I did have it the right way. What a silly bug. Let's try that again. This might be a Sacramento slap. So there's 78.6. There is the original W. You want to throw a stink bid in somewhere in the reload zone and join me? Totally fine. Nothing wrong with that. I don't know whether I'd be too jazzed about stepping in right here. So anyway. And just FYI, people, right? And this is the way that I keep myself out of trouble in this business. I will never tell you what to buy. Ever. You come on the TRI site, we'll show you what we are doing with our money. And if anything, the fact that I'm an open book, you can see everything that I do in the marketplace, although our website's having trouble right now, but it's coming along. And if you want the spreadsheet of what I have in like the little old lady portfolio, I'm happy to show it to you. I don't really care. We have a fundamental analyst on the site who invests serious money in bigger crypto names and what he would consider sort of industry changing stories. We're an open book. We will tell you what we're investing. We will never tell you what to buy or sell. So if you do decide to participate on this, I don't have any vested interest in whether you play this in this space or not. I have no skin in the game whether you buy what I buy or not. It makes no difference to me. I like the fact that, in fact, it would actually be better for me if I said, yeah, go and buy this, go and buy this. So then you push it up and your buy orders actually give me my sell. Hey, that'd be great. But would that be a good fiduciary?
No.
Is that a conflict of interest? If I'm telling you to buy something, but it turns out that your buy orders are filling my sell orders, wouldn't that be a bit of a conflict of interest?
Yep.
That happens all the damn time in this space. And it makes you sick to your stomach how fucking corrupt these damn humans are.
I agree.
Excuse my French. So please understand, I don't care what you buy or sell. I've got 35 years experience in this game. I know what works and what doesn't. If you want to heed my advice, you want to join me in my positions, great. You're more than welcome to join me. But I'm not going to pound the table that you have to do this or you have to do that. The only thing I'm going to pound the table is you have to be a good person. That's the whole, make a positive difference in this world. Just be a good person. Don't be. I don't want to name names. I mean, there's so many names we can name in this stupid world. They're just so evil. Just try and be a good person.
Amen. And that's what you're out here to do, is be that positive, make a positive difference in the world. And I think anyone here is that's watching can agree with that sentiment, that you are quite on your way doing that. You already have.
Awesome. Love it. Don't be a hair sniffer. Oh goodness. And the one reason why I stick it in with here with Joe, month in, month out, is I really think very highly of Joe. I think he's a very, very good person.
I appreciate that, Brian.
And I would vouch for Joe. I think Joe is, and his superiors. You should be very thankful that you have Joe as part of your team there over at Coinigy.
Much appreciated, Brian.
Yeah, well, there you go. Hugs and kisses. In fact, I even had the privilege of being introduced to Oregon's state food. Well, ranch.
Oh, yeah. No, that's the Midwest in me.
Is it? Oh, so did you introduce your better half to ranch?
Yeah, she spent time in the Midwest. She knows about ranch with pizza.
Oh, I thought that was an Oregon thing. So it's not an Oregon thing.
That's been me since wee little lad.
Oh, and so that's a Wisconsin thing.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if it's a Wisconsin town. I don't know if they could take credit for it, but been around. It was around then.
Okay. Hey, and what's a bubbler?
Bubbler? Oh yeah, that's like a drinking fountain.
Yeah. Well done. I heard that today. I was like, this on YouTube. One of these shorts was making fun of Wisconsin, and he goes,
like the map of where people say it's like only Milwaukee, where I'm from, is like areas that, I mean, Wisconsin as a whole, but like the Milwaukee area is big part. I'll have to send you that, but too funny. So yes, I do call it a bubbler.
Cool. All right. I think I should probably be quiet. Joe, you want to wrap this up?
Yes, sir. On that note, well, yeah, we're just past it. So thank you all for joining us. Be sure to like the video, comment on it after if you could. It does help with getting the views up and the visibility out there. And as always, Brian, we appreciate you, and that's all for tonight.
Bye for now.